Good morning, girls and boys. Here we are in the 737-800 cockpit. First of all, I'm not going to say what's up, because what's going to be up is my aeroplane, and it's an inane thing to say on the internet. I'm going to run through and give you an idea of how this Boeing 737-800 fires up, this simulator. We are at the moment sitting at gate 15 at Perth International Airport, and we'll just do a start up and taxi out to the runway, take off and do a very short circuit. Then I'll possibly do another video of the landing and taxi in. So sit back and enjoy it, and we'll hopefully give you the commentary on what's actually happening. At the moment, we're not quite cold and dark. We have actually got the ground power on, which means that all of our instruments are lit up. We have our radio panel all lit up, ready to go. Our throttle's not at the moment because we haven't started our APU. So we shall start that and then set everything up. In the meantime, we shall import a flight plan into the FMC so that that's set up. And we'll do a short one, which will be, if I can find it on my list here, which will be Perth to, let's say, Kalgoorlie, maybe Kalgoorlie. Yep, YPKG, that'll do us. And we'll import that from the company route, so it's into the FMC, and we shall now look at that in the FMC, and there we go, and we now can set the parking brake. Okay, we're all set. Now we'll have another look at this. The route has been loaded into the FMC, so we shall put some information in there. Our POS in it, we're at YPPH gate 15, and our route is already in there, YPPH Perth to YPKG Yankee Papa Kilo Golf, which is Kalgoorlie. Our runway today I think will be 03, so we'll put that in there. Our flight number, we'll give it a flight number of QF463, that'll do. We'll activate that route, and now we'll put in, because I've done previous flight planning, I think we'll put in around about 74.5 tonne, and our reserve of 1.4, and our cost index on this will be 15. Our flight level will be flight level to 27,000 feet. Flight level 270. Flight level 270, and then our other bits of information. Our takeoff will be flaps 5, which gives us a V1 of 148, a VR of 150, and a V2 of 155, which we can put in our IAS here. 55. Okay. Okay. Our runway heading will be 03. Okay, So our planning continues. We now can put in our departure, which is Amana 2 from 03. Activate that, and our arrival, we'll do an RNAVZ to runway 11 in Kalgoorlie, and then we look at our various leg points and make sure that that's all continuous. Done. We then can look back at our takeoff speeds, put them back in, 148, 150 and 155. Now this is not strictly correct to flight planning, but all our information is in the computer now. We go back to our legs, we can put that into the first officer's side as well. So we're pretty much set up. Now, whilst that was happening, what we should have been doing was to get the passengers on board, so let's do that. First of all, we will call for the jetway, request jetway. And at the same time we shall request the catering. Request catering. Request jetway. Request jetway. Right, the jetway is coming in. Catering truck will be here shortly. In the meantime, we shall open our doors. So our right forward is being opened for our passengers, and our left forward for catering, and our forward and aft cargo doors will be open as well for the luggage to come on board. We can set our before we do that, we'll start our boarding. Start passenger boarding. We can set our first officer's side to weather radar and the captain's side to terrain, and you'll see that show up on the bottom here. Okay, we've got a few minutes to kill while that's all happening. In the meantime, we'll switch back to the map view on our pad here, and that gives us the position on the airport apron at the moment at gate 15, and we'll be able to see our taxiway through to 03. We should set at this stage our flight altitude, which is 27,000 feet in this case, and our Kalgoorlie, we'll have to have a look at the elevation of Kalgoorlie. Okay, our elevation is 1,203, so 1,200 is our elevation for Kalgoorlie. 1,203, that'll be near enough, 1,200. Our no smoking is on, our seatbelt sign is on. We put that on at this stage so that when the passengers come on board they should really buckle up as soon as possible. We can switch our galley on now as well because we have internal power, and we can disconnect from our ground power, so we're under our own steam. So ground power is now off. Okay, passengers are now boarding. And you may see on the right hand side the luggage carts are coming in with the luggage. Normally we would have called up the catering well before this, before we even started the cockpit preparations. So that's going to be dragging its feet a little bit. It hadn't come in yet. In the meantime, I may tune to Perth approach, Perth ground probably. 120.5, and we'll give a bit of a listen to that. Now, unfortunately, with all the communications that we've got, they are Americanised, and it's pretty droll. It's that. The women on the channel are croaky, monotone, monosyllable, terrible. But also some of the terminology is not the same as you'd be using in Perth, so that's a problem. At this stage we can do some checks. First off, we can check our fire panels. That's for the hold fire. This is for the fire panel itself. That's going well. We can check our radar as well.
Monitor radar display.
Which is fine, and our TCAS.
TCAS test pass.
So TCAS test passes, and we should have that on standby at this stage. I could put on the system test, which tests all the ground proximity warnings, but that goes on for a fair while, and it'll drown everything else out, so I won't do that at this stage. That is done by pressing a button over here. The first officer will do that. Well, we'll do it. Let's do it.
Light slope. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear.
There's no way of stopping this. It has to go
terrain,
through.
Terrain. Pull up. Obstacle. Obstacle. Pull up. Airspeed low.
Another Qantas aircraft
Sink
coming in
rate.
on our right.
Pull up. Terrain. Pull up. Don't sink. Don't sink. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Gear.
Our passengers
low,
have finished
flaps.
boarding.
Too low. Terrain. Flight slope. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Plus 100. Minimum 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Too low. Terrain. Caution. Terrain. Caution. Terrain. 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 Pull up. Caution. Obstacle. Caution. Obstacle. 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 Pull up.
I'm definitely going to have to shorten that one as it's repeated and all sorts of things, so I'll have to do that at some stage. Now our passengers have boarded, and I can see that the all the carts are over on the right hand side there. I have just closed the left hand front door, or the hosties have. The right front door is also closed. I'm going to check and see whether the catering has been finished. Yep, catering has been finished, so all our doors are closed, and now we have to undock jetway. Undock jetway. So that's going to get rid of the jetway. And as soon as that's out of the way, we can get fired up, ready to depart. So I'll call for pushback. We have got clearance already for pushback, so that's no problem. And it'll be ready for departure. Ready for departure to the left hand side here, which we call the right hand side for the tug. Ready for departure, right? Okay, we're getting ready for departure. Right forward fuel pump is on. APU bleed is on. Isolation valve is on, open.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
We are ready and the parking brake is set.
Locking gear. Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Okay, we are being pushed back. We are going to start engine number 2. Okay, our control panel here, we have auto throttle is armed, we have flight directors on, we have the autopilot engaged. We turn that to anti-skid and VR on the dial there. 25%, we put fuel in.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Captain and the entire crew would like to welcome you aboard. May I kindly ask you to fasten your seatbelt now, making sure they are pulled tight. And for your own safety, we recommend that you keep your seatbelts fastened during the entire flight. My name is Karen Sharp. I'm the purser on your flight today and do wish you a pleasant stay on board. You are welcome to use your own electronic equipment after takeoff when the fasten seatbelt signs above you have been switched off.
We're starting number 1 engine.
Generally permitted on board our aircraft. and therefore all mobile phones should be switched off completely at this time. Further details are available in your in-flight magazine, which you may find in the seat pocket in front of you. They will
Waiting for confirmation for good engine
store
start.
heavy baggage under your front seats and not in the overhead compartments, as they may shift during flight. Thank you.
The other aircraft that just went over the top of us, that's an anomaly. That should have actually stopped behind us while we were being pushed back,
Ladies and
but there you go.
gentlemen, we will acquaint you now with the safety features of this aircraft. Please pay attention to the flight attendants. First of all, we demonstrate how to fasten and unfasten your seatbelt. If there is a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will automatically drop from the cabin ceiling. If that happens, pull one of the masks towards you.
Good engine
Press
start.
the opening firmly over your nose and mouth. Then assist any children travelling with you.
Okay,
Your life
we're
jacket
now
is
on
under your
generators.
seats. Please observe the
Fuel
following
on,
demonstration.
yaw damper on,
Pull the
generator
life jacket over
on,
your head, attach the
hydraulics
straps to the
on,
hook in front.
window heat, which
Then
should have
pull
been
the
put on
belt until
earlier,
it is tight.
and air
Just
conditioning
before you
packs
leave the
are on,
aircraft,
bleed
pull
is
these red
off,
tabs to
other
inflate
lights
your
as
jacket.
necessary,
If necessary, use the rubber tubes to inflate
engines to
it.
continuous.
Should you leave the aircraft through an emergency exit over the wings, do not inflate your jacket until you have left the aircraft. This small signal lamp lights up on contact with water.
Telephone disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Find an information card explaining all safety instructions in the seat pocket in front of you. Please take particular note of the location of the 8 emergency exits, which are all identified by the word exit. Illuminated escape path markings will guide you to these exits, and please keep in mind that the next available exit might be behind you.
Okay, our tug has
If you
just
have any further questions,
left is clear,
please do not
right is clear.
hesitate to ask one of your
just
flight
gone.
attendants.
He's told us we're
Ladies
clear.
and gentlemen, we are now
We're ready to
for
taxi.
takeoff.
Taxi light on. Parking brake is off. And we have quite a long taxi run to the top end of 03. So we may cut this in the middle and not worry about going all the way through, but bear with us.
Cabin is ready.
430. Contact first departure on 128.1. 128.1, clear 430.
Now, as pointed out earlier, all the procedures I've done are not necessarily correct. I should be following a checklist, etc., but I thought just for the purpose of getting a little bit of video together, we'd do it this way. There's several things that I already know that are wrong the way I've done it, and should have been done in a different order, but broadly speaking, it shows how we fire the little beast up. One of the programs should have given us a warning that we're approaching a runway 06, but that's not working at the moment. At this stage, the first officer would be giving us flaps 5 for takeoff. We've already put the anti-skid and our VR. VR would be 155. There is a slight anomaly in Perth Airport visuals here, and the runway markings are not necessarily where they should be. Anomaly in the runway where the markings are not necessarily where they should be. Clear on the runway, nothing on final, we're ready for takeoff. What I was just saying about the runway markings, you can see the Vasi lights there. The ones on the right are partially onto the runway. They should be quite a way over to the right. So at some stage I'm going to have to try and correct that. I'm not sure how, but we might try. However, we're ready for takeoff. Flaps 5, landing lights are on, taxi lights off, everything else is good. Yep, and we'll bring her up to 40%, let it settle, press the toga buttons, and airspeed's alive.